provincial tournament, Over-50s New Zealand cricket. Today's featured match will be the host team, the Wellington Tasman Firehawks. And they'll be playing against the defending piece, the Auckland Cavaliers. Auckland won the toss and chose to bowl. And opening the batting for the Firehawks will be Colin from Wellington and Mason Robinson from Nelson. The umpire is just signalling to the scorers that all is in readiness. Dean Askew will be opening the bowling for Auckland. And we should be underway in just a few seconds. All right, here we go. Askew to starts off with dot ball to open the IPT for 2022. Horton Park looking a picture today. Very well prepared ground. Expecting this wicket to have quite a few runs in it. So we see Owens confidently onto the front foot there against Dean Askew. Colin Owens, a long-time club stalwart in Wellington, pretty sure he played for Eastern Suburbs at some point, but I believe spent the majority of his career at the University Club. He was part of that very successful club side that the University Club had. I believe they won the National Club Championships at least 2 years in a row, maybe even more, in the mid-90s. And I'm pretty sure Colin was a big part of that. He's still playing for University Club at Hazlitt Trotch's second grade senior. Owens off the mark. First runs off for Wellington Tasman. Clip off the legs to square leg off the bowling of Ravi Pereira. Pereira again to Owens. He's well forward. Big stretch out for the forward defence. Have to say I don't know too much about Ravi Pereira. He didn't play in the IPT last year for Auckland. Auckland, of course, won the tournament. Nice strong action though, big long follow through, and Owens just lets go outside the off stump. So he's looking pretty assured so far, Colin Owens. On the cut this time, that's a really good shot. He's timed that and it's flashed away to the point boundary for the first boundary of the innings. Very nice shot from Owens. Got right over the top of it. little bit too much width from Pereira, and if I haven't mentioned it already, this looks like a very good batting pitch that should be full of runs. So Auckland left to watch line, and that's a good bit of fielding at square leg from, not sure who that is, could be Voyage, square leg, but you know, that was well timed again from Colin Owens, but a good save, kept it down to a dot ball. Ooh, I think I got the edge of that one, and it's just bounced at an awkward length for the keeper there, Tanu'u, and snuck down through the slips. They'll just take the single. So that brings the second over to a close. There were 7 runs off that, all to the bat of Colin Owens, who is now 7, and Wellington Tasman are 8. It's a little cool here in Blenheim. We've got some very, very hot weather lined up for us over the week, but today cool, overcast, as Askew comes in again to Owens, who's looking pretty assured there again. So yeah, it's a little bit cool. There's a bit of a breeze, probably 15, 16 degrees out there. Might get a little warmer as the day goes on. Sunday and Monday, which are the last 2 days of the tournament, we're expecting temperatures to rise into the 30s. So the players will actually enjoy this cooler weather, I'm sure. Good bounce there from Askew. Just rising up on Owens a little bit. This is Colin Owens' first season of over-50s cricket, having just turned 50 not too long ago. Whereas Dean Askew, on the other hand, is much closer to 60 than 50, but still charging in off his long first-class run. As we see a quick single there, tucking it away to mid-wicket. Another good delivery from Askew, bit of bounce there again off a length, and beats the bat of Mason Robinson for the second time in this innings. Mason Robinson's in reasonable form this season. He's scored a couple of 50s already for his club side Wakatu in Nelson. Ooh, slashes at that one, and it's raced away to the third man boundary for 4. The third man fielder couldn't quite get around to that. Streaky shot from Robinson. He does enjoy the drive. It's caught the edge of that one, and it's gone flying past the slips for 4. So Wellington, Tasman progressing steadily here as Pereira continues to Colin Owens. Another good bit of bounce, just climbing up on Owens a wee bit. So that finishes a better over for Pereira. Just 2 runs and a leg by. And Tasman moving steadily on to 16 after 4 overs. So we've got 4 matches on today, as I mentioned earlier. We've got District. As we see, Askew beat Robinson again outside the off stump. So the same 4 teams are in each division. Each province has 2 teams, and in each division the same teams will play each other each day. So we've got Auckland versus Wellington, Tasman here in Division 1, and in Division 2 the same 2 teams will be facing off. Askew again, good length, but Robinson pushes forward. Loves a fight, does Mason Robinson. He'll be enjoying this. Obviously won't like being beaten and snicking the ball, but he'll love the contest. Whew. That one flies through at chest height, beats him again, and through to the keeper, Ofisa Tunu. So that's a maiden over from Dean Askew to Mason Robinson. Very good over. Great start from him. He's only had 5 runs off his 3 overs, and 4 of those were a snick through third man. So I'll try and keep you updated with the scores from the other matches. Good start from Canterbury Otago against Districts. They're 28 without loss after 4 overs. Andrew Hoare has raced away to 20 runs off 15 balls, mostly from the bowling of Simon Dodds. He's batting with Craig Gibb, is Andrew Hoare. As Pereira continues to Owens, no run. Over in Division 2, Canterbury batting in that game against Districts, and they're also doing okay. No wickets down, 14 runs after 5.5 overs. Mark Hampton and Tom Musich opening the batting there. More runs off his legs for Colin Owens here as he clips it through the vacant mid-wicket. They've turned for 2 and thinking about the 3rd, but 2's enough. Another nice shot from Owens, looking strong off his legs. Looked a little bit slower and fuller, that one from Pereira, and Owens just watched it sail by. And in the final game, in Division 2, we've got Auckland batting first against Wellington Tasman, and Auckland are 10 without loss. So no wickets in any of the games thus far. More runs off his legs for Owens, but just a single this time. And finally. So from what we've seen of Colin Owens so far, he looks a bit like an archetypal New Zealand left-handed opening batsman, strong on the cut, strong off his legs. Mason Robinson down the pitch, takes 2 steps and boofs it right back over the bowler's head for 4 into the side screen. That's classic Mason Robinson there. Doesn't like to be dominated, and he certainly did the dominating on that ball. Well struck. So while Mason Robinson has struggled, to be fair, against Dean Askew, he seemed to fancy the bowling of Ravi Pereira a bit more. See how Askew goes against Colin Owens. Short, he's comfortably on the back and tucks it into the leg side, where we see the dynamic Spencer Day come racing in. Probably the best fielder in New Zealand over 50s cricket. He's very quick, very fit. He was outstanding at last year's IPT. That one gets past Spencer Day, but just for one. He's covering a lot of ground there. Day between we've got Rhys Henderson at a sort of a wide mid on, and then nothing on the leg side round to Spencer Day behind square. And then there is a fine leg as well. That's Ravi Pereira. Then we've got 2 slips, a point, cover, a mid off, and there might be a third man down here. Yes, we've got a third man down here in front of me. Owens lets that one sail through to Tanu'u. No run again. It's the end of Dean Askew's 4th over. He's got good figures, none for 7. And I make the score 25 after 7 overs. cloud just feels like it might be lifting a little bit. Still not warm by any stretch, but comfortable for the players, as I said before. And we've got a change in the bowling now. Looks like this might be John Voinovich coming into the attack from what we'll call the city end. I've been looking forward to seeing Voinovich bowl. He has a fairly big reputation, played a lot of senior cricket in Auckland. I believe he was close to making the Auckland side at some point, and he's recently turned 50 as well, so this is his first season of over-50s cricket. Just comes off about 9 or 10 paces, right on medium pace. Starts with a full ball to Robinson, and he just pushes it up to mid-on for a single. It was fielded there by Rhys Henderson, who will be having a turn at the bowling crease, no doubt, probably in the middle to later stages of the innings. Bowls off spin has been the leading wicket taker in both IPTs that we've had so far, but it'll be a little bit for down the track. That one down the leg side and is signalled a wide, the first wide of the day actually. That's a better ball, forcing Owens into a defensive shot, which he pushes out to cover. Auckland probably have the strongest bowling attack in the tournament. They've got the 3 bowlers we've seen so far, plus we haven't seen Neil Ronaldson yet. He's always a danger. They've got John Cleland, another seamer, plus at least 3 spinners in the form of Amitaj Randhawa, Maya Chauhan, and Rhys Henderson, who I just mentioned before. That's not even mentioning Adrian Dale, who won't bowl, unfortunately, because he's got a bit of a knee injury. But overall, quite a varied attack for Auckland. That one, Owens tries to pull away. It didn't actually seem all that short. He's missed it, and it's because it was down the leg side, it's been signalled a wide. So it's a wide plus a run for a total of 2. Right, here we go. Voinovich to Mason Robinson. That one is a little bit shorter. Gets up to about waist height on Robinson, and he just sort of lets the ball hit the bat. Practically expensive hoik over. Oh, that's a big shout for LBW. Umpire has a good think about that one. It must have been pretty close. Hard to tell exactly from this angle, but it was full. Certainly not going over the stumps. So the first bit of excitement we've seen from the Auckland fielders. Oh, and then Robinson does play that expansive hoik shot that we were expecting before, and finishes the over with the boundary. Right, so 4 runs to finish that Voinovich over. Big smash over mid-wicket from Mason Robinson after surviving a very close LBW shout the ball before. And after 8 overs, the score is 33. Robinson on 15 with 3 boundaries to his name, and Colin Owens on 13. Askew again. Robinson's down the pitch, this time confidently, but can't get hold of, doesn't actually make any contact with the ball, just hits his pad and dribbles out onto the offside, but he's looking aggressive, is Robinson. Not sure if you can hear the wind through the microphone there, but it is getting a little bit windy out there. Robinson down the track again, but he makes no contact. So he's... oh, that's a bouncer, and he sits Robinson on his backside. Don't see too many bounce at over-50s level, but that was a good one from Askew. And Robinson was made to look a little inelegant there, I think it's fair to say. Dean Askew, even at the age of 59, does not like people charging down the wicket to him. But Robinson does just that and creams it through the covers for 4 runs. So, good tussle between Robinson and Askew, and I guess you'd have to say Robinson got the last laugh. With a nicely cover boundary. So plenty of action at the moment. And it's 30 without loss after 9 overs. More for Wellington Tasman. Great shot down the ground from Colin Owens. Beautiful straight drive off the bowling of Voinovich. So Colin Owens joining in the fun as well. And that was a really nice shot. The run's flowing from the Firehawks batsman. Voinovich tries again. What's he got there? A full toss that's smoked down the ground again for another boundary. Vacant. In fact, there's no one even mid on. But that probably would have gone for 4 anyway. Good hit from Owens to a full toss from Voinovich. So that's actually 3 consecutive boundaries to the Firehawks batsman, one in the last over from Robinson, and now 2 in a row for Colin Owens. It's a bit more like it from Voinovich, forcing the forward defensive from Colin Owens. Oh, what have we got? An appeal for a leg side stumping. The keeper, Tanu'u, he seems to be confident. I'm not sure if the batsman's actually been given out or not. And now there's still a little bit of confusion. We're not quite sure what's happening. The batsman is standing his ground with a very confident appeal from the keeper. I thought initially it was for a leg side stumping, but the square leg umpire didn't seem to do anything, so it may have actually been for a caught behind. I'm just going to confirm whether it's in fact a dot ball. So apparently a bit of controversy there. It appears that the umpire at the strikers end may have raised his finger to give Colin Owens out and then reversed his decision. So I'm not sure the original out decision was for, whether it was a caught behind that he then felt was not out. But in any case, Colin Owens has survived. And a bit of a calm end to an eventful over. So what it looked like happened from up here was that the ball passed down the leg side and it was cleanly taken by the keeper. I initially thought it might have been a wide that turned into a stumping, but it appears that the fielders were appealing for a caught behind and the umpire may have given it out, but then somehow reversed his decision. So we'll have to find out perhaps from the players what actually did happen, or maybe it was clearer on your screen. Okay, so we've now got a change of bowling at the Hills end with Neil Ronaldson having a bowl. Neil Ronaldson is another member of the New Zealand team, did very well for New Zealand at the 2020 World Cup. He was one of the leading wicket takers in that curtailed tournament. We'll see how he goes here. Bowling to Robinson. Robinson starts with a cut shot, which I think is going to reach the boundary. In fact, it is quite easily. Well timed by Robinson. Ronaldson gave him a little bit of room there from Neil Ronaldson. That one's straighter, but a little bit shorter, and Robinson comfortably in behind it there. Yeah, so Neil Ronaldson doesn't have a huge run-up, but he's quite a bustly bowler, strong guy, and does seam the ball and sometimes swing it around. Gets a lot of LBWs. So he does try to hone in on stumps, and I think that's what he was aiming for there. So both these two batsmen are moving along smoothly. Owens on 22, Robinson on 23. Ooh, that's a good ball from Ronaldson. Beats Robinson, and Tanu standing up to the stumps. Whips the bails off in a flash. Good bit of keeping from Officer Tanu. That one is driven nicely, Ronaldson, to the left of Mr. Chase, and he won't get it. So it's a fast outfield here. Didn't look like he'd smashed that one, but timed well enough to reach the wide mid-off or extra cover boundary. So another boundary to Robinson, his second in the over. How will Ronaldson respond? It's a good length ball, and Robinson just pushes forward to end the 11th over. Firehawks' run rate after 11 overs is just a tad under 5. See if we can quickly go around the grounds. Great start from Canterbury Otago versus Districts. They're 73 without loss after 12 overs. That's six runs per over. Andrew Hoare, 47 off 37. Craig Gibb, 12 off 35. So Hoare doing the bulk of the scoring there. We do have some wickets in a game. What have we got here? Auckland are 30. This is in Division 2. Auckland are 32 for 2. The men out, Jason Howarth and Michael van Staden. And in the last game, more runs over there. Canterbury Otago 55 without loss against Districts in Division 2. Like getting a little bit of in-swing, Vojnovic. Hard to tell from this angle, but his action and the way that Colin Owens played that particular ball did suggest that. That one is short and wide, and it's cut firmly to point, but Spencer Day, as I mentioned, very, very good fielder. Doesn't let that one sneak past him. Pulled away this time by Colin Owens. There's no one out on the mid-wicket boundary, as you wouldn't expect there to be. And that one races over the line. A little bit short from Vojnovic, and Colin Owens easily rocking back and pulling that one through mid-wicket. So yet another boundary to the Firehawks. And there won't be too much respite to come if they do manage to break this partnership, with Richard Petry due in next, followed by Scott McCarty, Hamish French, Greg Stretch. It's a very strong batting lineup that the Firehawks have this year. Very strong. It's the end of Voinovic's third over. So out of the four teams, and probably say that Auckland are the one side that is more of a bowling side. They have that varied attack that I mentioned earlier, and the batting is quite dependent on Adrian Dale, or it has been in previous years. So the fact that they haven't got a wicket yet might be a little bit of a concern for Auckland. In fact, he does have a whack. It's gone way up in the air. This will take some catching. It'll be a hell of a catch. Oh, Adrian Dale running back. Probably one of the most difficult types of catches that there are. It went high up in the air, and Adrian Dale racing back from first slip as well, and with that knee injury, it was always going over his shoulder, and he actually got two hands to it. So he did all the hard work, but they're so difficult, those catches, because you never really have a proper line on the ball, and just spilled it. So difficult chance for Auckland, but a chance nonetheless. Colin Owens on the pull there, and we'll just see. Yeah, he did miss it. He played a pull shot but didn't get anything on it, and it's gone for 4 byes. Plenty of action in this over. First real opportunity that Auckland have had, and unfortunately they couldn't grab it. Of course, most of these Auckland guys have not had any cricket because of the lockdown. They have, I believe, had maybe 1 or 2 weekends when they were finally able to play. The weather prevented them from doing so. So for a lot of these guys, this is, you know, one of the first actual games of cricket that they've had in the season. And that leave outside the ump brings that over to a close from Neil Ronaldson. So 64 without loss after 13 overs. That's just under 5 an over. Now, Districts have claimed a wicket in the other Division 1 game, and it was the very valuable wicket of Andrew Hoare, who had been going along nicely, 48 of 42 before he was caught by Simon Dodds off the bowling of Grant Hall. So Canterbury Otago 86 for 1 after 13.4 overs, and John Gary has joined Craig Gibb. It's going to be Voinovich to continue here. He's gone for 17 off his 3 overs. Quick single by the looks of things to Robinson. It would have been a chance actually for a run out. Spencer Day racing in there from mid wicket, but couldn't quite pick up the ball cleanly, unfortunately. He would have had to do everything right to get that run out. He would have had to hit the stumps well. Robinson. Sneaks down the leg side past Colin Owens. He must have just got a little bit of pad on that. Sorry, I diverted my glance. Didn't quite see what happened on that one. Oh, bit of indecision as it goes out in the offside to Spencer Day again. Probably at this level, most batsmen not expecting fielders to move quite as quickly as Spencer Day does, and he forced them to make a decision not to run, which probably was a good decision in this case. Owens leans back and pushes that one down to third man. Bit of a trademark shot for Colin Owens, I believe. I did watch him play a little bit way back in the day in Wellington, and I believe that the run down to third man was a bit of a favoured shot for Colin, and he obviously still doesn't mind it now. Robinson doesn't time that one all that well, but squirts out to wide mid-on, and they get a single. Just give you a quick score update from the Division 2 matches. Auckland are 47 for 3 after 13.2 overs. Stuart Jensen has just been dismissed for 20. Duncan Hutchinson has 2 of the 3 wickets to fall, and Steve Hart has the other one. Come back to that in a moment as Ronaldson continues to Robinson. In the other game, in Division 2, Canterbury Otago are 72 for 1. They've just lost a wicket. Music has been missed. Mark going very well, 46 off 48 balls. Drinks here, 15 overs gone. Wellington Tasman 72 without loss. That's a pretty good effort for them. They'll be happy considering the amount of firepower they have in their shed, and Auckland conversely will be quite disappointed that the bowling attack that they've put so much stock in hasn't been able to get a wicket in these first 15 overs. Over on the number 3 ground, Canterbury Otago just returning after their drinks break. They're doing very well. Also, 95 for 1. As I mentioned, Andrew Hoare hit a pretty fast 48. Craig Gibb, a bit more sedate, 47 runs for his 20, and he's just been joined by John Gary, who has already hit a boundary off his wicket taker. But most of the bowlers have taken some stick. Simon Dodds in particular has gone for 42 from his 5 overs. And Grant Hall, despite taking a wicket, has gone for nearly 7 and over. As I mentioned, down in Division 2, Auckland struggling a wee bit, 49 for 3 after 15 overs. Duncan Hutchinson doing well, 2 for 21 off his 6. And Canterbury Otago in Division 2, 72 for 1 after 15 overs. Mark Hampton, 46 off 50 balls. Pat McKenna is the man joining him after the dismissal of Tom Musich. David Scott is the bowler with the wicket. He has 1 for 33. Okay, so we're just about ready to resume after the drinks break. Looks like we're going to have some spin with Amitaj Randhawa coming into the attack. Randhawa has actually opened the bowling for Auckland on several occasions in the past, coming in now at second change. He bowls a mixture of off spin and I guess you'd say slow swing. He's got a goodness in repertoire and has been quite effective at this level for that reason. So I'm sure you'll see a mixture of off spin and I believe it's usually an out swinger, but it would be a bit of an in swinger to the left-handed Colin Owens. Anyway, we'll see what Randhawa dishes up for us. Starts with a wide. It's a bit better, but pushed down comfortably to long off by Owens for a single.
Yeah. Maybe.
Driven down the ground by Robinson as well. That's the way he likes to play the spinners generally. Push down to long on, long off for ones. Good quick single there from the batsman. Mason Robertson was quick to call Colin Owens through for that run as it just dropped down on the leg side. It's a good proactive batting from these two against Randhawa. Robinson slashes that one over cover, but there is protection back. Cover sweeper is, I think, Chanawira Paruma, and it's just a single there. Robinson to end Randhawa's first over, which concedes 5 runs. To see what sort of total the Firehawks are aiming for here. They've got 30 overs left. All 10 wickets in the shed. I think they'd probably be looking for a total well in excess of 250 given the start that they've got and the batting firepower that they possess. Good pitch, fast outfield. Anything less than 250 I'd say they'd be disappointed with from here. So we could be in for some batting fireworks over the next hour and a half to 2 hours. Ronaldson continues to Robinson, slashed away by Mason Robinson and crosses the boundary at backward point for another 4 runs. It was a slashing backward square drive from Robertson, just using the pace of Ronaldson. And he moves into the 40s, does Mason Robinson. Looking aggressive today. Ooh, but that one has beaten him, and unfortunately for Ronaldson, it's actually not for Ronaldson, for the keeper, it's going to go away for 4 byes. Beat everything. It cut Robinson in half, went through him, went through the keeper, who's admittedly standing up to the wicket, so he didn't have much of a chance to stop it, but 4 runs to the total. And that one's gone up in the air, flicked away by Robinson, and it's another boundary. Boundary to Robinson, and then another boundary to Robinson. And we've now got a wide. So expensive over this from Ronaldson. There haven't been too many bad balls, to be honest, but plenty of runs. "17 of them, in fact, with still a ball to go." Rather hopeful appeal for from Ronaldson there, I think trying to get out of this over with something, but I think that was probably heading over the stumps. That one has been driven, it's hit back on Owens and deflected down to long off, but Mason Robinson has declined the chance to take a run there because of the deflection. So good sportsmanship from Robinson. He now acknowledges his 50. Randhawa to continue, and Colin Owens again looking good off his legs, just pushes that one out to the man who comes off the mid-wicket fence. That's Wera Paruma. Excellent partnership this from the two Firehawks opening batsmen, getting close to 100. They'll be really happy with that, the Firehawks. Sure, there would have been a lot of thought given to who would actually open the batting, as we see that one down the leg side. I didn't think he got any contact on that, Robinson, but it wasn't given a wide. Stretch or Scott Pender. They chose these two, and looks like it was a good decision. That is cut beautifully away by Colin Owens. There's two men there. There's a point and a sort of a squarish third man, but he's bisected them beautifully. I thought it was going to run away for 4, but the fieldsman did cut it off, so just the 2 runs. Plenty of action in the Districts versus Canterbury Otago game. There's been a minor flurry of wickets. Craig Gibb has been dismissed. LBW to Chris Jeffries for 29. And then Kelvin Scott getting a second ball duck, also to Jeffries, being bowled. So they are now 105 for 3. John Gary's still there, and he's been joined by Matt Everest. Chris Jeffries 2 for 18. I'll give you a report from the Division 2 games shortly, as we see Rhys Henderson coming into the attack, replacing Neil Ronaldson from the Hills End. To bowl a bit of off spin, this will actually be an interesting contest, I think, because Henderson does sort of float the ball up there a little bit for an offie, and Mason Robinson for taking wickets. Starts off with a dot. And the second one, so Robinson just taking a taking a look, he'll know that Henderson is a wicket taker. Bit of a slash there from Robinson. So 4 dot balls to start off from Henderson. That's a good start from him. Onto the back foot that time, trying to cut, and just gets a little under edge that hits the foot, I think, of the wicketkeeper. And again, no run. Ooh, and on the cut again, misses the ball, and that's a maiden over from Rhys Henderson to start. Great effort from him, keeping Mason Robinson scoreless for an over. Well done. I'll just quickly update you on the Division 2 matches. Auckland 68 for 3 after 19 overs. Things are going a little bit slowly for them, 3.5 and over. And Canterbury Otago, 89 for 2. So it looks like they've just lost a wicket there. Mark Hampton out. Nice drive down the ground from Robinson, just for a single. Owen's on the drive this time, again for that down the ground single. Robinson on the sweep this time, and it's a well struck sweep shot. Beats the short third man, rolls up the bank, 4 runs to Mason Robinson. Well played. So we've seen boundaries pretty much all around the ground from Robinson today. Ooh, he shaped up for a sweep on that one, but so far outside the off, he could possibly play a sweep to it. Ended up playing a funny sort of leave shot. So the Firehawks still going well here. A little bit over 5 and over after 20 overs as they approach the halfway point of their innings. Again with lots of batting to come. We might see a little bit of a change in the batting order. Perhaps they'll consider promoting someone like Jason Campbell, who's very aggressive. I'm sure Richard Petry will still come in next, as he's a aggressive in most situations. But before that happens, the Auckland team will need to take a wicket, which they haven't managed to do yet. It's been an excellent partnership from Owens and Robinson. Ooh. But Rhys Henderson is doing his best. He's bowled 6 dot balls in a row now. Troubled Robinson in the last over, and he troubled Owens just now. Not on that occasion, though. It's an excellent sweep shot that goes out to the boundary for 4, so really well played by Owens. Probably not the best ball that Henderson has bowled, and there are big gaps in this field. So Owens found one of them there, moves on to that boundary. On the cut this time, but well fielded at point by Randhawa. He had headed off to his left, and then the ball sort of swerved away to his right, but he stuck out a right hand and managed to drag that one in. That would have been 4 if he hadn't done so. It was well done. Good fielding. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here today. Please make sure to follow the New Zealand Over-50s cricket Facebook page for all the scores, highlights, video links, updates, all the good stuff. That's the hub for the IPT this year, is the Facebook page. So head to Facebook, just type in New Zealand Over-50s cricket. Streaming this match today on Pitch Vision, so there is an interactive scorecard that goes with this, where if you just want to watch the actions for a particular player, you can click on his name and see his highlights. You can see every delivery he's faced if you wish. Same with bowlers. So again, if you go to the Facebook page and look for the link on this morning's post, you'll find all that information there. Oh, that's been put down. Finally they get a chance, and it looks like Voinovich there at a wideish, short mid-on. That position's been there all day, or sort of a straight mid-wicket really. Went straight to him and he shelled it, so that's disappointing for the Auckland guys. They really needed that wicket, or any wicket I suppose, but not able to hang on. It would have been a big wicket with Robinson really getting into his work now. It's the second chance that they put down. This one's very, very difficult. High ball swirling, fielder running backwards, but that one straight in, straight out. And he's hanging his head a little bit there, Vojnovic, at the moment. There are a few other members of the team. Shout for LBW, he was well forward there, and says no. Flighted and driven, but not past mid-wicket where Adrian Dale fields. Still plenty of chat from the Auckland guys. They can't let that dropped catch get them down too much. As we see another full ball that Owens does manage to drive back past Randall, where he probably could have made a little bit better effort to field off his own bowling. .114 after 22 overs. That is 5.18 runs per over. And we're virtually halfway through this innings. Well, we will be in 3 balls' time. So again, definitely looking at 250 plus. That's a good bit of fielding. Who's that in there? Might be Adrian Dale sprawling across at extra cover. Stops any run. No one will stop that one as it heads down to long on. Mason Robinson, 57 off 61 balls. He would have played a lot at this ground. Grew up in Marlborough before moving to Nelson about 10 or 15 years ago, I think so. He's down the track. Oh, no timing there. No timing, and it just squirts out to mid-wicket, where again Dale gets across. Mason Robinson went to Marlborough Boys College, and I believe he played for Wairau Cricket Club here in Blenheim. Probably shouldn't get that wrong. Gets hold of that one, straight down the ground, bang, and on into the sight screen for 4 runs. It's sort of what he was trying to do the previous delivery, Robinson. But managed to get hold of this one. Yeah, whichever club it was that he played for in Blenheim, I think he played 100 senior games for them. So he would have played a lot here at Horton Park. You'll know the field, you know the pitch. And today, 61 off 63, a few trademark shots. The cut, the leg side flick, and of course the straight drive that we just saw just now. Down the track again, but no timing that time. So it's all or nothing for Robinson at the moment. Just tells himself to settle down, take a few breaths. Brings that over to a close.
190.
Randawa to continue. This is his 5th over. That's that flatter one, quicker ball that he has. Right, what's Mason Robinson going to do here? He's checking out his boundary options. The fielders are spread back. We've got a deep backward square leg, we've got a cow corner, we've got a long on, we've got a long off. I think that's all the boundary riders. It goes on the sweep to that aforementioned backward square leg, and there's just the one. So the way the fielding restrictions work in the IPT is for the first 15 overs you're allowed 3 fielders outside the ring, and then for the next block of 15 overs it's 4 fielders, and then for the last block it's 5 fielders. So we're in that middle block at the moment where you're allowed 4 out. That's a wide. Good bowling from Randawa, not giving away too many bad balls, forcing the batsman to hit down the ground where there is protection, long on, long off. Robinson gives himself room, but Randawa follows him, and all he can do is just sort of squirt it out to mid-wicket for another single. So Robinson looking to be aggressive, but good bowling from Randawa. He'll be looking to finish off this over quietly, but Owens cuts and cuts well, and it's heading out towards the boundary. It won't reach it as the fielder races across, but they will come back for 2. So 7 off the over in the end. It was looking like a below, but he has none for 29, I believe, of 5 overs. Let's have a quick look at the other Division 1 match. That's Canterbury Otago. They are 135 for 3. So Matt Everest and John Gary going okay. They're going at 5.3 and over the mainlanders there. Who have we got bowling at the moment? Richie Stevens and Adil Samani. Henderson to continue. Robinson smashes the ball down the ground, but long off gets in the way, and it's just a single. Flatter from Henderson. Owens cuts but can't beat short third man. That's John Cleland there. Yet another single down the ground. Been a lot of those. These two batsmen just quite happy to push the spinners down to the long off, long on fieldsmen. Take their ones. Robinson. Oh, he smashed it back at Rhys Henderson, who rather reluctantly, I suspect, put his hand out to catch it into the boundary for 4. So plenty of real estate out there for Robinson to work with. Goes on the slog sweep and reaches the boundary quite comfortably. So he's motoring along. 68 from 70 balls. Thirteen fours in there. So that's 52 of his 68 runs have come in boundaries. What can Auckland do at this point? I suspect that the rate's only going to increase unless there's a huge flurry of wickets. Wellington, Tasman pretty much have the Aucklanders at their mercy at the moment. They have prepared well this season the Firehawks, whereas teams like Auckland simply haven't been able to play cricket because of the lockdown. The Firehawks have already been down here to Blenheim. They came in October for a couple of trial matches. Robinson hits that one through cover. It could go out to the boundary. I don't know if he's timed enough. It's another boundary for Robinson through the vacant cover. Another 4. So what have we got? 8, 10 off that over. So the Firehawks have played on this ground already this season, as I mentioned, even though it was an inter-squad or 2 inter-squad trial matches. So they'll be familiar with the conditions, familiar with each other. Randhawa's going to keep going. He's bowling to Colin Owens, who's approaching his 50. He's on 43. This is Owens' first official over-50s match. So it could be 50 on debut. As they'll get a single as it beats the outstretched hand of Randhawa. He did get a finger on it, but couldn't stop the single. Robinson looking to be aggressive now. Let's see what he does. Squirts it through point. Actually squirts a bit unfair. He timed it reasonably well. Nice little square drive. And they'll come back for 2. lofted down the ground by Ronaldson there, just for a single. Still just milking the Auckland bowlers, these two. 141 they've put on for the first wicket. Great partnership. Robinson on the sweep, but he's Q-ended it to straight mid-wicket somehow. No run there. Full toss, hit out to mid-wicket. There is a man there, but he can't get across quickly enough. And it's yet another boundary to Robinson. So that was a bad ball. Probably deserved to go for 4, as indeed it did. And takes Robinson to 79. So a few slightly slumped Auckland shoulders as we see Wellington Tasman rocketing along to 145 without loss after 26 overs. That's over 5.5 and over now. Colin Owens 45 not out on his over-50s debut. Mason Robinson, who of course has been opened the batting for New Zealand quite a lot, and batted elsewhere of course, but he's still in great nick. 79 not out. Looks like Dean Askew will be coming back into the attack. Maybe the Auckland guys figuring that he has been the best of their bowlers and therefore perhaps the best chance of getting a wicket. Canterbury Otago in the other game keeping pace with Wellington. They have lost 3 wickets, but they're also in the 140s. 149 for 3. John Gary 32 not out from 37 bowls. Matt Everest 14 not out from 30. Chris Jeffries has 2 of those districts wickets and Grant Hall has the other one. Colin Owens has called for the helmet again as Dean Askew comes back into the attack, and that one is, just turns it round the corner to fine leg. Askew to Robinson. It was an interesting contest between these two earlier, but Robinson now says, I'm well set and I'm going to smash you, Dean Askew, back over your head, back over the side screen for an enormous 6 that has gone, gee, I don't know how long that boundary is, but it's cleared the side screen quite easily there, gone onto the road. So beautifully timed from Robinson all the way for 6. It was a fantastic shot from Robinson, perhaps shot of the day, although there have been some other good ones. Askew was dangerous with the new ball, bowling to batsmen who weren't set, but he's got a different task now, coming back in the 27th over with an older ball and facing a batsman who's now on 85. What can he do? Robinson gets a little cheeky, premeditates a ramp shot, perhaps expecting the ball to be shorter, but didn't. It was shorter, but he didn't get any contact on it. Short again, tries the ramp, or maybe it was more of a kind of a cut. Didn't hit it either. I don't think he needs to get too cute here, Robinson. He's just played his normal games so far. Played good shots. That's all he needs to keep doing. Flat bats that one down the ground this time for one, which they've turned into two. That's good running. Just a little bit wide of the fielder at long off, but they pushed hard and they've managed to come back for two. Shortish again from Askew, but Robinson's able to just dab it down to third man for a single. 10 off that over. Well done from the Firehawks. They'll be quite happy with that against the Auckland spearhead Askew. It looks like we're going to see a change here at the city end. I'm just not sure who it's going to be. It looks like Spencer Day is actually taking off his cap and glasses. I haven't seen him bowl before. I'm pretty sure he didn't bowl at last year's IPT. In fact, it will be Spencer Day, so we'll have to see what he bowls and how he bowls. Tough assignment to come on at this point with two very well set batsmen. One of whom is Mason Robinson on 88. 12 runs away from what would be, I think, his second over-50s century. He definitely got one at last year's IPT. So it looks like today's going to bowl a bit medium pace. Here he comes. Starts with ball down the leg side. We'll have to wait to see what the umpire says. Leg by, as that one goes down to short fine leg. Run rate of 5.74 at the moment. It's just been steadily increasing right throughout the innings. Almost at 6 now. 6 and over would take the Firehawks to 270. So they'll probably now be looking in excess of that, perhaps even at 300. That would require them to score almost 150 off these last 18 overs. But with 10 wickets in hand, plenty of batting to come, it's definitely a possibility. Well run single from Colin Owens. John Gary's just recently been dismissed by districts, out for 33, caught behind off the bowling of Adil Samani. 156 for 4 is Canterbury Otago. Still keeping pace with the Firehawks, but 4 wickets lost. It's full and straight, and I guess maybe it wasn't. Hard to tell from this angle. No appeal really. W. It may have been some bat on that one. Robinson again looking aggressive. He's lost his shape a few times, even though he has hit 16 boundaries. There's a few times where he's just looked a little bit aggressive and he's lost his shape and he hasn't really managed to connect. So he's almost perhaps better off just playing those good quick shots that he's very adept at doing. Oh, again gets cute, and he's played a weird sort of scoop shot that's gone directly behind the keeper. Didn't have enough on it to go any further than about the 30-yard circle, and it's just a single. So again, another odd, overly cute shot perhaps from Robinson. Hard to criticise, the guy is on 89. That's a really nice shot from Colin Owens, flicked off his pads, and it's gone round the corner for 4 runs, and that brings up his 50. So 50 on Over-50s debut, on IPT debut for Colin Owens. Well done, congratulations to you, sir. And another 7 runs off that over. So he started off okay, Spencer Day, but that last ball just probably drifting onto the pads and very nicely flicked away by Owens. Quick update from Division 2. Auckland, 115 for 4, so they've made a little bit of a recovery there. Andrew Brookland, 31 off 53 balls. That's against the Wellington Tasman Firehawks. And Canterbury Otago, 155 for 3. Pat McKenna, 35 off 27 balls. He's still going. The other batsman there is Andy Arnold. Greg Shearer has 2 for 41. He's doing well, Greg Shearer. Always bowls tightly in these events. Back here on Horton Park number 1, the Wellington Tasman Firehawks continue to rack up a big total. Let's see what they can get to as Robinson dabs that one down to third man for a single. Moves into the 90s. 90 he is. He had a little bit of a slow start today, Robinson. He didn't really seem in control of too many of the first 10 or so balls that he faced, but got over where a leg slip would be, and it's gone down to the boundary for 4. So well played, Mason Robinson, I suppose you'd have to say, but very unusual shot. Very difficult to get it there on purpose, I'd say. But it's yet another boundary to Robinson. He's on 94 now, creeping up towards that 100, or racing up towards that 100. And this one has also found a gap between keeper and fine leg, but just one. We're on the wicket now, this time skewed to Owens. Beats him. Down to third man again for a single. So it's been a smart innings from Colin Owens today. He's recognised that Robinson has been the aggressor, and he's fed him a lot of the strike. Just the 5 boundaries for Owens out of his 53, while Robinson's hit 17 boundaries out of his 95. So it's been a really clever partnership from these two. We'll have one more over before the second drinks break. As a reminder, the drinks breaks come after blocks of 15 overs, so we have them at 15 and 30. It's going to be spent today to have another over. Nicely driven. Beautiful shot actually through extra cover. I think it's going to go to the boundary. It is. Wow, what a sweet shot that was from Colin Owens. Very, very nice. Went to the left of Adrian Dale at extra cover. And it was a very sweet boundary. Again, off his legs time, up to square leg where there is a man there, so just the single. Firehawks are virtually at that 6 runs per over mark already, which will take them to 70 if they can maintain it. I mentioned they'll probably be looking for over 300 from here on in, I'd expect. I found the gap again somehow between point and third man, but didn't really time it, so just a single that time. It just feels like almost every shot is hitting some kind of gap here today for the Firehawks. There's been some great shots, but it's a big field, plenty of gaps. Another crisp drive from Colin Owens, but travelled so quickly up to mid-off that there was no chance of a run. He will get the run this time though, with a little straight push off his legs up to mid-on. 164 for 5, so they've fallen behind the Firehawks a little bit in terms of the number of runs. 5 wickets lost. Matt Everest, he's on 23. It's taken him 42 balls, so maybe not quite the acceleration they would like. Paul Henry, he's out. Bowled LBW by Adil Samani for 4. Brent Fleming is in now on 1. In Division 2, Auckland are 120 for 4 after 30 overs. Andrew Brookland, he's still in, 35 or 59 balls. And Russell Drake, I think it is. He's joined him, he's on 3. Top scorer in that innings, Dave Caldwell, 39 from 64. And in the final match, in Division 2, Canterbury Otago, 167 for 4 against Districts. Pat McKenna is on the 7 in that match. I don't actually have the full scorecard for that game. It's the current batters and bowlers. Stay with us while the players just take a quick drink. We'll be back shortly.
trouble. We've got to watch the other game as well.
Just about to resume after drinks. Rhys Henderson is going to have his second spell. 4 overs, 1 maiden, none for 16. I think he might have the only maiden of the innings so far. And he'll be bowling to Mason Robinson, who's just 3 runs away from a century. I believe it'll be his second over-50s century. I think we're going to be in for some entertainment over this next 45 to 60 minutes. As the Firehawks look to rack up a big target. Robinson on the hoik. Out to mid-wicket, but it'll just get the one for it. I'm honoured to have New Zealand opening batsman Andrew Hoare in the room with me. He's actually playing in the other game on this ground. He scored 48 today. Well done, Andrew.
Oh, thanks, mate.
You've come over to watch maybe Mason Robinson bring up.
Nice to get a 300 here, or a big one. It's got plenty of time to get a big one.
Indeed, we've got Colin Owens on strike though, as he's doing what he should do here and just give Robinson the strike.
Let's strike over. How's the strike rate going there?
It's around 100. 98 off 91 balls according to my my stats.
Pretty tidy statistician, like that.
I'll ask you a little bit about your own innings in a moment, but we want to see if Robinson can bring up the 100 here. Won't be off this ball, but he will get a single. So he's just doing it in ones at the moment.
Which is it's a good idea, I think, at this stage.
Is this your approach in the late 90s, or? So we do have Mason Robinson on strike now on 99.
Here we go.
How's he going to play it? Big shot or a single? Pumper?
I think he's going to just push a one.
Okay.
Field's deep. That would be the sensible thing to do. He deserves it.
Here we go. Robinson on 99. Ooh. Can't get it that time. Can't get it that time. Is on 99. Oh, he's got an edge and still no run that time, as it edges down to short third man and it's fielded safely.
It was a pretty good ball. Big break a little bit.
2 dot balls now. He's still on 99. Robinson, what's he going to do this time? He does get it down the ground. And just the single, but he will bring up a fantastic 100. So well done, Mason Robinson. Raise your bat. He's missed the chance for some overthrows. Oh, well, that's unusual, isn't it? Too busy raising his bat to notice that no one had fielded the ball. So they get an extra run, and that's a great century for Mason Robinson. 101 not out. Well batted, Mason.
Yep, it's a great knock. I'm watching it from the other ground for most of it. Had some good boundaries there. I think he had Dean Essie for 6 round, didn't he?
It was a beautiful shot way over the sight screen. And he's done exactly the same here to Amataj Randawa. That has gone, I believe it's out of the ground completely into the neighbour's house. That might take some retrieval, I think. Beautiful, clean shot from
It's definitely gone
Mason.
into the bush, that one.
Yep, we were just talking about what would happen if balls were lost, and we said, well, it's hard to lose here. Mason Robinson may have done that. Anyway, he's having reached his 100, he's going to have some fun now, and he's launched Randawa over his head for great shot.
It's actually quite good if they don't get too many guys out there betting today, so if we get a couple of wickets when we play these guys, they'll be assured of a gallop, won't they? That's good. So Targo, Canterbury team, mainlanders are 180 for 6 in 36 overs, so 10 overs left to push on.
180 for 6 indeed, yep. What sort of target are you looking for over there?
As many as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
I hope you get them.
A couple of interesting LBs going on over there, so
Okay.
hope that continues. Looks like Mason's retired, is he?
Oh, yes, we are seeing Mason Robinson retire, which is unusual. Perhaps he's a little bit tired. Or perhaps he'd just been generous to the other batsmen, or perhaps his captain said, I'd like a bat. It is the captain striding out to the wicket now.
Yes, the captain does want a bat, I'd say. Chris Jeffries for Districts has got 2 for 22 off 6. He's done pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the wickets I'd better get back to my game, Jim. It's good to catch up.
Right, well, thank you for...
Thank you for all your hard work getting all the tournament organised.
No trouble. Thanks for sharing your time. Good luck for the rest of the game. Okay, so Rhys Henderson will start a new over. Colin Owens is still there, but Mason Robinson has retired. We're going to call it retired out. Didn't look to be too injured, and it still counts as a dismissal anyway, so we'll put that as retired out. Owens continues doing what he's been doing, pushing the ball down the ground for a single. 67. We've got Richard Petry coming in now, usually opens the batting, coming in at number 3 after 32 overs. I'm sure the Auckland guys won't be especially delighted to see him coming in at this particular point. Strong hitter. So the departure of Robinson, I don't think will slow down the run rate all that much. And he's onto the sweep straight away. Doesn't make contact, but it is a wide. Petry off the mark. The push down the ground for 1. Owens on the drive, nice cover drive. They'll probably come back for 2. In fact, they do, as Wera Paruma has to move about 25 metres to his left. And that's the 200 up for the Firehawk. 200 without loss. As I think Owens is going to pick up a boundary here. In fact, he will. Sweep shot into, again, one of those big gaps. This time down at backward square leg. And that's gone over the line for 4 more. So Owens now into the 70s. 73 he is. Very impressive innings from him. 9 runs off that Rhys Henderson over. 204 without loss. Wellington Tasman Firehawks. Amazing. Randhawa has 7 overs, none for 47. He's bowling to Richard Petry. He has a very good record against Richard Petry. He's dismissed him 2 or 3 times now. So it'll be interesting to Petry's approach. He usually doesn't take a backward step. In fact, he takes a forward step there, but can't get a run. It'll be a wide. Oh, bit of confusion there. Petry a little bit enthusiastic for the run, which we don't say all that often. Wasn't really on. It was a wide anyway. Good over this from Randhawa. Owens can only get 1 there, as he pushes it to long off. Just 4 off this over. Let's see if he can finish it well. Short, and Petry can only push it into the covers. So he does get away with it. And single to finish. So yeah, good over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off it. Cry of bowling army. Army short for Armitage. That shout coming from one of the Auckland fielders on the boundary here. So it's going to be Henderson. He's going to keep going. He's bowled 6 overs, none for 33. 11 overs to go here. 209 is the score. If they're going to get that 300, they're going to need 91 off 11 overs. But I'd say it's still possible, especially if Richard Petry gets into his work. Cheeky little sweep there from Petry. There's a big gap. Might reach the boundary. Oh no, it's stopped by the foot of Ravi Pereira. But it was required enough work of him that the batsman managed to come back for 3. That might be the first 3 that we've had today. 3s were a feature of the last IPT. And again, on a rather big field like this, you'd think there might be a few. Petry on the sweep again, looks a little bit more aggressive on that one, but only gets the 1 run as he's hit it straight to Ravi Pereira at deep backward square leg. Hit in the air, but safely down to long on by Colin Owens again. I think it's been a really good knock from Colin Owens today. He hasn't played this type of cricket before, but he's just played really, really sensibly, batting with Mason Robinson, let Robinson take charge, gave him the strike when necessary, hit the boundaries he needed to. He's done really well. Ooh, that's a terrible, real long hop from Robinson, but Petry hasn't taken full toll of it. He's somehow just managed to scoop it over the head of the keeper down to fine leg for 2. Certainly not where he would have expected to put a half tracker like that. Anyway, 8 off the over from Henderson. He's got none for 41 from his 7 overs. Canterbury Otago, they're still racking up the runs as well. They're going at 5 and over. 204 they are for 6, with Brent Fleming on 16 not out, and Brendan Winder, another newcomer to over-50s cricket. He's on 12. So they've got 4 overs to go over there on the number 3 ground. So they might be looking at something around 230. Division 2, Auckland are 141 for 7 against Wellington, Tasman. Andrew Brookland, he's top scored with the wickets have been shared around. Rupert Crichton, Tim Heineman, Duncan Hutchinson, all taking whips. They've 7 if they're making out of that innings, Auckland. Finally, Canterbury Otago in Division 2, 201 for 6. I'll come back to that one in a moment, as it looks like Randall was just about ready to go with his final over. He's bowled 8 overs, none for 52. Ooh, that one's aerial, but it's fallen just short of Adrian Dale at mid-wicket and beaten him, so they can come back for 2. It was hit in the air, it was just still rather than to him. Owen's on the drive, as he's done so much today, down to long off. No timing from Petry that time, but we'll just get the one. Loftons safely in down to long off. Just the 8 boundaries out of 80, so that's 32 in boundaries. What's that from? And when he connects, it goes far, and it has gone far, all the way for 6 over a straightish mid-wicket. So well picked up. It's in fact headed across the street, Redwood Street, I think that one is. Big hit from Petry. Goes again. This one's in the air. It's a chance. No, he hasn't timed it, and it's fallen just short of a slog sweep. But fortunately, I suppose for Petry, didn't quite time it, and it fell short. So just the one there to finish the over. But nevertheless, he's on 17 after 11, and there were 8, 9, 10, 12 off that over. So another decent-sized over for the Firehawks as they continue in pursuit of that 300 mark. So there's still 9 overs for Auckland to get through here. They haven't claimed a wicket yet. 36 overs. Nothing to show for it really. Just ever intact. Petry smashes that. He just waits on the back foot and just hoofs it through through cover. In fact, for another boundary. So he's well into his work now as Petry. When he times it, it almost invariably goes for 4. It was just brute strength from Petry there. It wasn't a bad ball and didn't really have a lot of leverage, but he still got it away for 4. 21 off 12 he is. This could be a painful last 9 overs for the Auckland Cavaliers if they can't get rid of Petry in particular. On the sweep, and he's timed that again, and it's a boundary that's gone well into the second game between Districts and Otago Canterbury. Just swept square and 4 runs. Consecutive boundaries for Petry. What can Rhys Henderson do here? Petry on the sweep again. I think this one will get cut off. Yes, it will, by Fielder at square leg. Didn't quite have the same power in that shot. I think the Auckland guys will be happy it's not 30 degrees today, because it's been hard enough running around after all these shots from the Firehawks batsman. There's another shot down the ground from Owen. Again, just giving his partner the strike. When you've got your other batsman hitting at 185 strike rate, you might as well just give him the strike. Where's Petry going to go this time? Is he? Oh, he goes on the back foot again and hits it over the extra cover fieldsman off the back foot for another boundary. That's just Petry power at its best. That was not an easy shot to play. You need a lot of strength to hit the ball in the air, and that's well played. 30 off 15 he is. And reverts to the sweep. Push 2, balls partner 3. Looks to be limping a little bit, Richard Petry, which is not unusual for him, but I hope it's nothing serious. .245, the Firehawks, 8 overs to go. If they're going to reach that 300, they need 55 off 8 overs, which I think they'd be rather upset if they did make that. Okay, we're going to see John Voinovich returning to the bowling crease now. He had a bit of a mixed opening spell. Went for 20 runs off his 4 overs, which I suppose in the context of a team that's going at 6.62 an over isn't that bad. Just sorting out his field now. The field is well spread. Who have we got on the boundary? We've got a deep point. We've got a long off. I'm sure there's a long on. Can't see one. Doesn't look like there's a long on. That's interesting. We've got a very wide mid on, although we'll see where Adrian Dale puts himself. We've got a mid wicket on the boundary. And there's also a third man coming into place now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 out. I think they're allowed 5 out. So, oh, in fact, looks like Adrian Dale is coming into long on himself. So 5 out. Okay, so see how John Voinovich can stem the flow of runs, if he can at all. Here we go, Voinovich to Petry. Pulls him out to deep mid-wicket, but even he couldn't quite get enough power in that one to reach the boundary. It's just a single. Dot ball. So far he's doing quite well, Vojnovic, in this over. Another one. I'm sure Petry won't let this continue for too long. There he is. Yep, for sure. Just leaned back and pulled that one completely square to the square leg boundary. 4 runs. He's up to 37 of 20 balls, Richard Petry. And the Firehawks have cracked the 250 mark, 252 without loss after 38 overs. Two, 3 for 7 are Canterbury Otago. Brendan Winder in his over-50s debut, 27 off 24. He's still going. And stager Andrew Nuttall is batting with him. Adil Samani, the leg spinner, has 3 for 23. So off his 9. So excellent bowling from Samani in that game. He'll be looking for a really big tournament this time, having been selected in the New Zealand squad that was supposed to go to Australia, but unfortunately that tour was put off, so it'll be interesting to see if Samani can back up and further his claims for reselection. Okay, we're going to see Neil Ronaldson returning to the bowling crease. I imagine he'll probably close out the innings here, unless he gets tapped around. He's taken none for 29 off his 4 overs, so he has received a little bit of stick. Will Colin Owens have time to make his century? Would be a well-deserved one if he did. Petry swings at that one, doesn't really time it, but has enough pace on the ball, and he puts a little bit more on it. Swings it around the corner, down to the fine leg boundary for 4 runs. So yet another boundary for Richard Petry. That's his 5th 4 to go with that one big 6. And he's moved to 37. That's a better ball from Neil Ronaldson, known as Rolly to his mates. Oh, that's beautiful placement from Richard Petry. Didn't need his power that time. He just guided the ball down through third man, again picking one of those gaps, and it's gone for another boundary. So yet another boundary, 3. Richard Petry, all of a sudden, is just one run short of a half century. It's only taken him 24 balls so far, quite extraordinary. This will no doubt be one of the fastest half centuries in New Zealand over 50s cricket. We don't actually have full records of them all, but it's got to be up there. And Ronaldson's not helped his cause here with a wide delivery that's beaten the keeper. It's gone away for 5 wides. So not really what you want when you've already conceded 3 boundaries in the over. .269 the score. Petry does turn it around the corner, and a bit of a fumble from the fielder, but it'll still just be the one. But that one is enough to bring up a half century for Richard Petry. He acknowledges, or maybe he doesn't, but yes, he does now, acknowledges the applause. 50 off 25 deliveries for Richard Petry. Wonder if he has a chance of scoring 100 today. 6 overs to go. It's 36. He'd have to get a wriggle on, but it's definitely possible. Although I'd say that by rights, probably Colin Owens has maybe deserves the 100 more, having put in a lot of hard work so far. Anyway, fantastic to watch this hitting from the Firehawks, and most recently Richard Petry. Here he is now facing up to Voinovich. Can't get anything on that. Nice drive from Owens, but straight to the cover fielder, and there won't be a run there. Ooh, cut hard and not hard enough to reach the boundary, as there is coverage out there, but still another single for Richard Petry. 6.85 is the run rate for Wellington Tasman Firehawks. It's just gone up and up and up throughout the course of this innings. And that's a big shot from Owens. One bounce just a couple of metres inside the fence. The umpire's checking. I think it bounced just inside the line. Still not sure. Yep, 4 runs to Colin Owens. Really good shot that. Nice pull. He's on 88 now, just 12 away from what would be the second individual century of the innings. And we've got 5 overs to go now. What sort of target can the Firehawks reach? It's definitely going to be in excess of 300. Speaking of final scores, we can see in the other game that Canterbury Otago have finished on 239. So for most of the innings they were going neck and neck with the Firehawks, but they ended up on 239. Top score there was Andrew Hoare, who was speaking with me a few moments ago. He got 48. John Gary, 33. A couple of 20s. Pick of the bowlers, Adil Samani, no doubt, 3 for 23 off 9 in the context of a score like that isn't bad. Very good, actually. Grant Hall, 3 for 45 from his 7. So Districts will need 240 runs to win that match. Auckland will need a lot more to win this match. It's going to be Spencer Day. Neil Ronaldson has been yanked after going for over 9 and over and bowling particularly badly in that last over. So Spencer Day has a chance now, bowling to Petry. He starts with a wide though. Words of encouragement from Adrian Dale, the Auckland captain. Just trying to encourage his troops for these last few overs. Ooh, I don't think that was a chance. It went straight back to the bowler, but I think it bounced first. Dot ball. Another dot from Spencer Day to Richard Petry. He's done pretty well actually, Spencer Day. I mean, his figures maybe don't reflect that. 2.2 overs, none for 15, but for a part-time bowler who probably wasn't expecting to bowl a lot, hasn't been bad. Petry swings that one away, no timing though. He's turning for 2 and he's coming back. But the throw has no power to it, so it's comfortable too. One's heading out towards the boundary. For once it won't have the power to get there, and it'll be hauled in, but not before they've scored another 2. Adrian Dale stops any runs from being taken there. So we've had 3 dot balls in this over. 5 runs from it so far, which is pretty good going at this stage of the innings. Can he finish it well? It's shortish, and Petry can only punch it to point. And there's no run. So yes, very good over from Spencer Day. Just the 5 runs from it. And there's now 4 overs to go. A few points of interest perhaps in these last 4 overs. Can Wellington get past 300? You'd expect they can. Can Colin Owens reach his 100? He still needs 12 more runs. And it feels like the last few overs he's basically just been giving the strike to Richard Petry. Definitely a well-deserved 100 if he does get there. Okay, we've got Ravi Pereira, who opened the bowling from this end, bowled just for 3 overs for 16 runs. He's coming back, bowling to Colin Owens, who cuts and beats the fielder. I thought the fielder had it covered, but it went through his hands and out to the boundary for 4. Nice crisp shot from Colin Owens, takes him into the 90s. I guess this is technically still the opening partnership, although I think that Mason Robinson's retired will count as a dismissal. In any case, it's definitely beaten the previous highest opening partnership at the IPT, which was also involved Mason Robinson. It was 118 between Mason Robinson and Greg Stretch at last year's IPT. Thank you to Bevan Jenkins for providing us with that. Jenkinson for providing us with those stats. And another cut from Colin and another misfield by the same fielder. Maybe this one was a little bit harder, but he probably still should have stopped it. He didn't, and that's consecutive cuts for 4 from Colin Owens, who's now on 96, and that century is looking more of an odds-on possibility. The strike rate's up to 81 as well. Here we go, Pereira to Owens on 96. Again, it's gone square on the offside, but more of a square drive this time, and no power, so just the single. .97 Colin Owens now. Fantastic innings from him, really well paced. Did exactly what he needed to do, which was give the strike to the more aggressive batsmen in the side, Mason Robinson firstly, and now Petry, who has rounded up to 56 from his 34 deliveries, 7 boundaries and a 6. And I suspect there's a little bit more to come in these last 3.5 overs. Let's see what Ravi Pereira can do. Such an imposing presence at the crease, Richard Petry. Big tall guy. Has to use his height to try and reach that one, but even he can't reach it as he tries to cut. No wide signalled by the umpire. Pulled away this time, but there is the man out there, and it goes straight to him just as well. It's Spencer Day out there. Here we go. Colin Owens on 97. What's he going to do here? He drives down the ground just for one. And that's over. 8, 9, 10, 11 off it. So another great over for the Firehawks as they march on towards that 300 mark. The other two of the other three games have already completed the first innings, and another one is just about to finish. I'll give you a full rundown on those as soon as we finish this innings, but there's been some big scores, as we were hoping for, I think, in Blenheim, known for its good batting wickets, nice weather. So the main point of interest here is whether Colin Owens can reach his 100 on Over-50s debut. Spencer Day will do his best to try and stop him. It's short and he's pulled it straight, and in fact that is the 100. He was in fact on 99, not on 98, so he's reached his 100. Congratulations, Colin Owens. 100 on debut. Fantastic innings. $100 not out off 120 balls. Very, very well played. Looked really good right from the start, actually. Owens had no trouble with the opening bowlers. And he's never looked troubled at all. Always managed to rotate the strike, hit the boundaries when he needed to. Hit 11 of them in total. 100 off 121 balls. That's a strike rate of 82, almost 83. Ooh, Petry beaten outside the off stump. Good delivery from Spencer Day. How will Owens play now that he's reached his 100? Oh, he goes aggressive. It's in the air. And drop catch on the boundary by John Cleland. It wasn't a super easy catch. Didn't have to move that far, but in the end he had to extend his hands out to his left, and I think it just got to him a little bit too quickly, and he shelled it. So another catch goes down from the Auckland guys. That's the third off today. Some of them have been tricky, but that one wasn't easy, but it wasn't impossible either. Fielding was actually an issue for the Auckland side last season, if I recall. It didn't stop them winning the tournament, but they will definitely be thinking of that as an area for improvement. Slashed away by Owens, only as far as the man on the point boundary. Big hit from Petry. That has gone well over the man on the mid-wicket boundary. That is a big whack. Probably at least 80 or 90 metres, that shot. It's not a short boundary there. Big hit from Richard Petry. 6 runs. So, Richard Petry really rubbing a whole lot of salt into the wounds that Colin Owens and Mason Robinson opened up earlier. Just making the tired Auckland bowlers suffer. He's come in and hit 63 off 40 with 7 boundaries and 2 enormous sixes. Fielders are still looking for this one somewhere down Redwood Street. Looks like it's gone into a house on the other side of the street, into the property at least. There's a couple of guys rummaging around in the bushes. Fortunately, we use these bright pink Duke's balls, and it should be retrievable. We saw Mason Robinson hit a big 6 earlier, which went into a different house. And it looks like it might be actually Mason Robinson who's helping to find the ball. That's nice of him, after scoring 100, to wander around and help the fielding side retrieve the ball, which I believe they've now done. No, they haven't. A couple of the fielders have returned empty-handed, but they've been sent back in for another look by the Auckland skipper, Adrian Dale, who apparently knows exactly where it's gone. So, while we have this little break and play, I'll tell you about what's happened in Division 2. Canterbury Otago scored another decent score there, 2-8 from 45 overs. Pat McKenna top scored there, 54 from 42 balls. Pierre Flavel, 48 from 40 balls. Mark Hampton at the top of the order, 54 from 66. And real flurry from Aaron Robinson coming in at number 10, 45 not out from 25 balls, with 7 fours and a 6. So 288, that's 6.4 and over for the Canterbury Otago Mainlanders in Division 2. Best bowler there looks like Tim King, the spinner. I believe he's a leg spinner. 4 for 55 off 8 overs. Greg Shearer 2 for 41 from 9. So districts will come out in pursuit of 289 to win that game. Looks like we've got the ball back here in this game. So Pereira will continue in his attempts to suppress the run scoring by Richard Petry. Let's see if he can. This match running quite over time compared to all the others, all of which are on the lunch break. Oh, it's a big slog from Petry again. It's gone over the head of the keeper. It might run away for 4 actually, so, or is it just pulling up? No, it has gone for 4, so unlucky for the bowler there. It wasn't any discredit to him, that one. But still 4 runs to Petry. 67 off 41 he is now. Still 15 balls to go in this innings. What can they end up with? They're well over that 300 mark now. 310 they are. 310 for none. Full toss, and it's so wide that it's going to be called a wide. Smashed this time again by Petry. He hasn't completely timed it, but he's hit it well enough to go one bounce over the fence into the children's playgrounds, where Three young children on swings have managed to coordinate their swings in such a way that the ball goes through them all. It is 4 runs to Petry, his 9th boundary to go with the 2 sixes, and he is up to 71 from 42 deliveries. That's 169 strike rate, in case you hadn't worked that out. So, this could be any sort of target by the time Firehawks are done. Still 14 balls to go. Here's Pereira again. Again, it's that cross bat whack, and Petry has hit it down to long on and declined the single. So he is farming the strike now, even batting with an opening batsman who's on 100. Petry is farming the strike, turning down runs. Because he wants to hit boundaries. He's hit that one way up in the air. It's fallen safely, and they've just taken the 1. So that went probably about 200 metres straight up into the air. Even Spencer Day couldn't quite get there, and it landed in front of him. And just the 1 run. So what did we have off that over? 10, 12, 16, 17 runs off that over from Ravi Pereira. There's actually only 1 over to go now, so we've got 6 balls left. I misled you earlier, apologies. 316 for none is the score. 1 over to go. Colin Owens on 104 not out. Richard Petry 72 not out from 44 deliveries. It's going to be Spencer Day to close out this innings. In the context of this innings, he's gone at 6 and over. That's pretty good going. And the team's going at 7.18 overall. And he'll be bowling to Richard Petry. Oof, that is gone. That is out of here. He timed the pants off of that one, and it's gone well over the boundary for 6 runs, his 3rd of the innings. When he times them, they get hit. And that one did. Big hit from Petry. 78 off 45. Is the 100 a possibility here? He needs 22 from 5 deliveries. Let's see how close he can get. Day to Petry. Goes on back foot, launches it out, but there is a man out there on the cover boundary, so he can only get the single that time. Plenty of power in that shot, but just the 1 run. So maybe the 100's no longer really a realistic possibility, but great innings nonetheless. One man who has got a century is Colin Owens. And he just turns it into mid-wicket for a single, again giving Petry the strike. Petry down the wicket. There's coverage there, so it won't go for 4. It will just be 1, in fact. They thought about the second. So, 2 balls left. What's Owens going to do here? Is he going to just give Petry the strike again, or is he going to just try and finish with a boundary of his own? Here we go. Day to Owens. Goes big, and he's got a big edge on it, and it's gone down to the boundary for 4 right in front of us here, through where slips would have been if it was a different stage in the innings, but it's not. And a bit of luck for Owens, but when the guy's on 105 and has batted through the entire innings, you'd have to say he deserves that. He's carried his bat right through the innings, has Colin Owens, batted all 45 overs. Whatever happens Well, I guess if he gets out this ball, it won't count. But he's not getting out. He's hitting it down too long on for 1. They turn for 2. Petry puts in the big ones and comes back for 2. So that finishes the innings. 331 without loss. The Wellington Tasman Firehawks have racked. Colin Owens gets some well-deserved applause as he walks off. Century on debut. Richard Petry, big innings as well. So it's time for lunch. I'm sure all the players will enjoy their lunch, and we'll be back in about I don't know how long it'll be, maybe 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Join us then.